Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Oh, welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Today is Sunday. You guys know what we got for the Sunday, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, we got our boy back in the house. Oh, man, it's good to have you back. How has the week been, Rig Form?
Thanks, homie. It's good to be back. Doing some reprioritization in the workforce and stuff like that. So it's been a great week. I'm happy to be back on the cast, even on a Sunday episode or an Easter episode. You guys are getting a pretty juicy one today, I would say. Happy Easter to those that celebrate.
Well, we're filming this on Easter, but
Right.
it'll come out next week.
Yeah.
So happy late Easter,
Happy
I
late
guess.
Easter. You'll see it late, but it is Easter right now.
Yeah,
so.
we're filming it on Easter, but yeah. But you know, we got some juicy we got a juicy episode for you guys. All right, we got an action-packed episode. We got some videos for you. I asked the community and asked you guys to send Michael in your funniest or best pickup line. So he's gonna give the thumbs up or the thumbs down. You know, he's either gonna give it a aura if you got
even a
or dishonor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing you guys the scenarios, all that good stuff. You guys seem to be absolutely loving the videos. Those probably are the most like engaging clips, if I'm being real with you. I don't know if it was last week or if it was the week before that, but the whole if you remember the connection one,
yeah.
where homegirl was just like, oh, I want to find a connection, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you got a connection, all right. That clip actually did really fucking well. That one and the paying for the like 18 women or whatever, that clip, those two clips for some reason have done the best so far. And so we just have more of that for you guys, if I'm being real with you. Just more craziness. And so this clip that we're going to show right now, or this video we're going to show right now, was sent in by you. I have no idea what the fuck this is about. All I see is best friend having a child. What the fuck?
Yeah, so just to give a little preface or whatever, right? This clip is a little bit older, like the original video is a little bit older, so it's just every now and then it resurfaces with like different people reacting to it. So at the end it'll probably show, I think it'll show like someone else reacting to it, but
I'll cut that out.
Yeah, the point was like women love to say like, oh, bestie's just a friend, yada yada yada.
Okay.
Yeah. My thing is always like, I think there's a difference between like boy best friend and like bestie, you know what I mean? And I think it's when a woman says this is my bestie, or like, you know, he's just my bestie or whatever, that in and of itself is more of a red flag than just having a boy best friend. But
okay,
you'll see why.
All right, we'll roll the clip.
Hijo del corazón, deja ya de llorar.
All right.
Yeah, so as you saw in the clip, for the audio listeners, it was just what it said is you decide to have, you and your bestie decide to have a friendship child. So
The fuck is a friendship?
yeah,
child?
the two, the man and the woman, decided that they were going to have a child together, but just remain besties and not be in a relationship. So it's a friendship child.
Come on, man. Like,
My thing is, I wonder if she had a fucking boyfriend at the time.
she probably didn't. I think what happened was that she got out of a relationship with a dude that, you know, she actually wanted to be with. Homeboy has been waiting around in the friend zone for God knows how long.
Yeah.
She looked at it like, well, I guess I'll fucking settle, because you gotta remember a lot of women have that whole like ideal timeline. They are like, oh, I want to have a baby by 25. I want to be married by 28. I want to, so on and so forth. Whatever their timeline is, a lot of women have that. And so I think when they are encroaching that and they look at it like, ah, shit, this ain't gonna happen with the guy that I want it to happen with, they just look at it like, well, it is what it is. Like my ex's sister was like, I want a baby before 30, and if I have to, I will just have my ex be a sperm donor, so that way I can just have a baby. And I'm like, bitch, what?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Why are you gonna have a baby with a dude that don't give a fuck about you just because you want a baby before 30?
Yeah.
Like, that's the stupidity of some women, if I'm being honest with you. Instead of looking at it like, okay, you know, I'm gonna find a dude who like is good for me, can take care of me, and, you know, be with me, whatever, and do it that way. They just look at it like, no, I want it now.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for her, she looked at it like, fuck all the love and all that stuff. I want it now. I want the best of both worlds, kind of have my cake and eat it too. So I'm just going to have this dude, you know, who's pretty much responsible for that baby.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
He's fucking responsible for that baby regardless. And then she could still go date and fuck other guys.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, it's crazy to me that women think like that. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah. Because now the question is, it was kind of brought up in like the comments and stuff of that video of like, when the child's like growing up, is he going to be like the dad? Is she going to get married to another dude and be like, this is your dad? Is he going to get married to another chick and be like, this is your mom?
Yeah, you're fucking up the kid.
Yeah, the kid's
like,
up.
I got two moms, two dads.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's going to be fucking weird, you know? Like, well, that's your dad, but this is your, like, biological dad that just gave you to me, but this would be your real dad, and you got to listen to him, but not him, you know? Or something like that, where it's like, what the fuck's going on?
How would you feel like that is biologically my kid, but she's telling my kid to not listen to me, but listen to the other guy?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, no, fuck this nigga. He doesn't have a say.
Yeah.
Okay, I got all the say.
Yeah.
That's my sperm. Yeah. The fuck?
Yeah.
Bro, the world is insanity.
Yeah, it in no way, shape, or form is it gonna play out well, because like if he stays loyal, right? He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck anyone else. She goes fuck someone else. She's like, the baby's gonna be like, Dad, why the fuck mom fucking all these other dudes? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I thought you were my dad. Why is
mommy and daddies don't need to be married? Mommy and, you know what I mean? Like, it's just gonna be so confusing for the child. And like, well, I just sat in my cuck chair for a while, and eventually your mom decided like, hey, I can't get a dude, so she came and fucked me, and that's how you came along. And now you growing up, that's gonna be your perception of what a relationship is.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to be weird because their dad's wasn't in the cuck chair for 5 years, and then their mom fucking went. I don't know if the baby's like a boy or a girl, and that's why I'm a little iffy on like the details, but like either way,
I would fuck them up.
Yeah, because if it's a girl, the girl's going to be like, all right, it doesn't matter if I have a partner or not. There's going to be some dude that's in a cuck chair for a while that I can fall back on. And then if it's a boy, he's going to be like, well, Dad sat in the cuck chair for 5 years, so why I should.
Yeah, you know? I can too. Oh, yeah. Like, son, why is your girlfriend, having sex with other dudes? Oh, well, because you let mom have sex with other dudes.
Yep.
And he's just sitting there just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, what did I teach my son? You know what I mean? And then your daughter is just like, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, mom has sex with a bunch of different dudes. Yeah. So, like, why can't I? And you're just fucking your kid up.
Yeah. And then every dude that gets with your kid's mom is just going to hit him with a...
like, bro, it's just... You're just fucking up the perception of the kid.
That kid's going to be twisted.
Yeah.
Twisted.
It's just
unless they get their act together and decide to get married, like, hey, you know what? We kind of weren't really seeing each other that way at first, but then we got together and we're like, all right, yeah, we really did. We found out through whatever our journey, we did have feelings. We just weren't sure. And then, now we're married.
Because they could, later down the road, he gets married to her and they have a normal seeming life before the kid grows up and is able to like form opinions and all that crap. It could happen. We're just saying, obviously, that's worst case scenario is like your kid gets fucked up and their perception of love and relationships is just further fucking up the world and the pool out there. It's just like, dude, because could you imagine dating right now? Like as a kid in high school with the internet and like TikTok, all that stuff, like, could you imagine dating right now?
No, I don't. So I don't know what it's really like for teenagers because I don't have teenagers. I don't speak with them, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the idea I'm thinking about, I do have like a good friend of mine. His son is like 15, so like that's like about like the extent of it, But he says it's rough, and so I believe him across the board, because I just feel like the idea of social media just puts too much in young people's head for them to really get like an idea of what they should be, especially because no one explains what happens on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you perceive stuff and everyone's got a different way of looking at something. So like you could see something and take it high right and be completely fucking wrong and do something crazy out in person where it's like all you need is confidence, right? And then you end up fucking with like a harassment charge or like you're creepy or like you're labeled terrible in your high school. So it's hard to say. I couldn't imagine it because I know it was difficult back in high school for me, but like now, dude, I could only imagine.
That's what I'm saying. That's not the kind of comparison I'm trying to make. Is like when we were in high school, it was already difficult to date and find a girlfriend and all that shit, whatever. But like nowadays it's like that cranked to 11. You know what I mean? Because from obviously like my mom's boyfriend's kids and just some of the kids that I guess like have talked to that are like kids of my friends and shit like that. I asked them, I'm just like, what is like school like for you, and they're always just like, oh well, everything's about follower count and everything is like who's popular online and stuff like that. Like it's no longer being in sports. It's no longer being the captain of this or that or whatever the case may be. No, it's all about like who's got the most followers. It's all about who's popping online. It's like if you ain't popping online, you ain't popping at all. So it's like you could be like this nerdy fucking little anime dude or whatever, but if your edits online of like anime shit is popping off and you got 100K, followers or whatever, that kid's popular.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like that kid's popular. They're like, yo, I want to fuck with that kid. Like his edits are like super popular on TikTok or super popping on Instagram, whatever the case may be. Oh, she's got, X amount of thousands of followers. Like we all want to hang out with her.
I would hope not, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's just like their metrics of popularity nowadays. Obviously not in every school, but in the majority of like times that I've talked to friends' kids and like kids of my my mom's boyfriend and stuff like that, just I've just been like, what is it like? And they always tell me that. They're just like, yeah, no, it's all about follower count, it's all about this, it's all about that. And I'm just like, that is so surprising. Because when we were kids, it was like you could have a pop in MySpace, but that didn't mean you were popular.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I always thought it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think back for us, it was more so about like Twitter. If you were popping on Twitter, you were kind of conceived as like popular. You know?
Okay.
But yeah, like as far as. You're right. Like follower count in general, not too many people were like, "Oh yeah, dude, like you're popular." Like you said, it was more about like what you did in school, because like every like position, I guess if you want to call it that, or every place you could be at, if you were popping there, you were pretty popular. You know what I mean? Like we had popular nerds that were like captain of like fucking Health Academy, or like obviously the captain of the football team, things of that nature, where it's like. you had like whatever ASB or something like that, like the school administration people were like, yeah, like the treasurer and all that kind of stuff. Like if you were seen up in there, you were known by a lot of people, so like you were pretty popular, you know. But I can't imagine now where it's like that kind of stuff has to like translate to online, you know.
Yeah, because I was the type of kid in high school, I was popular by association. I just knew people, or like I would talk to people, and like that person knew a person that knew a person, and that's how that person knew me. And I, you know what I mean? They would just randomly say what's up to me, and I'm just like, how the fuck that random dude know my name? Like, okay, all right, whatever, you know? And it was always because I just kind of got along with everybody and just talked to everybody, but I was never really like friends with a lot of people. I would just talk to them, but like by association, they're like, oh yeah, that dude, yeah, cool guy, I have a class with him. And they're like, oh, okay, well if that dude's cool, then like I'm cool with him.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Aaron? I'm like, who the fuck are you? What's up, man? You know?
Yeah.
So like that's how I was, I guess, quote unquote popular. But that today I don't think would ever happen, I guess, unless you'd be popping online. Like, you know,
interesting.
If I were to walk up to you and be like, oh yeah, that dude Billy over there, you know, he's a good guy, you would just be like, well, is he good on Instagram? No, he's not. That dude's trash.
Wow.
He has 20, you know, that's the mindset of kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Instead of it being like, oh yeah, that dude's dope. Oh, okay, cool. You say he's dope, then he's dope.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's so weird. And that's why I look at it like, as an adult, if it's hard dating, I can't imagine, you know.
It's because they got not really much else to focus on, you know. Like, they have academics, but then outside of that, there's not really much social proof anymore of, like, your popularity. So I guess it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. All right, so this next one, every time I saw this video, I've seen this video maybe, like, 50 times. I always thought he was just drifting in a parking lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, he fucked his car up. I did not know. Massad's trying to attack me. I did not know that for one, I didn't know his girlfriend was in the car. And then two, I didn't know that she was trying to go after his phone.
Yeah, so I thought that was an interesting topic because it's kind of like big in the comment section if you look in there. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are kind of going back and forth on it, why exactly she was like immediately like, let me just get the phone. So like you guys will see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to talk about, and I'll give my opinion after we play it.
Okay, we'll play it and then you talk about it.
No! Fuck! Damn it!
It's okay. Give me your phone. Fuck, give me your phone.
She gets out of the car and is still like, give me your phone.
I'm dead. No, my life's over, Sam. My life's over. Sam, my life's over. Sam, it's over.
Password.
Sam, it's over.
Password.
Sam, no, everything's over.
No, I know.
She's like, password.
Stop it. Sam, it's over.
Call it Gordo.
All right.
Oh, God.
So I'm assuming she was like, they're in the car, and then she's like, give me the phone. And so then he's like, whoom, and then boom. After all that, homie is like worried about his car, and she's still worried about the phone. At that point, I would have just threw my phone at her. I'd be like, you fucking bitch, here. Take my fucking phone, my car. Who's going to pay for my car? I ain't going to lie to you, I would be the same way. I'd be the same way. And me, I got money into my car. So there's no fucking way. I would be like, here, take my phone. I don't care if you find shit or you don't. We're done. We're fucking done. We are over with. Bitch, get the fuck out my face right now.
Oh, God. Yeah, that shit is funny to me because, so, like, there's, like, like I said, there's a big debate in the comment section where like
Okay.
people are like, oh no, she was just going after the phone because he's obviously hysterical. So like she's the one that's gonna be making like logical decisions. She's gonna like know who to call or whatever. And I was like, absolutely fucking not. I don't care how distraught I am. The worst thing I can do is then hand over my phone to my wife to get her to try to call someone. Because she, like, who is she going to know to call that I wouldn't already fucking know?
Yeah. And if I'm being honest with you, I've been in this situation before. And it was with me and my ex-fiance at the time. We were driving home somewhere and someone rear-ended us. And I was like, fuck. And I was pissed. I was upset, distraught, like just mad. You want to know what she was doing in the passenger seat? Oh my God. What? Oh, and I'm like, fuck. Now I have to deal not only with the person behind me, I got to deal with my own feelings, and I got to deal with hers. It's like, bro, no. And she's like, she's doing the same thing. Oh my God, give me your phone. Oh my God, I got to call somebody. Oh my God. And I'm like, no, you're not
dude.
Calling anybody.
Literally.
You're not, dude, relax.
Like who, yeah, and that's like the point where it's like, who would she know to call where he wouldn't already know who to call? You know what I mean?
Because I mean, for him, he looks at it like, bro, for one, everything's fine. It's not like anybody is bleeding or dying at the moment. The worst thing right now is my car.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like,
financially,
yeah. The worst thing right now is my car. We're okay. We're fine. We didn't hit anybody. There's not anybody else involved. It's just us, and we're okay. So it's like, I'm not worried about calling help. Why are we calling help at this moment?
Yeah.
Like, if anything, my car needs help.
Yeah. And so for the audio listeners, it says what could go wrong drifting a car you couldn't afford to damage, right? So very obviously the man is freaked out because he hit a pole and he's like, dude, like, how am I going to fucking pay for this? And it's like, unless she knows some fucking mechanic shop that'll do shit for free and it's only on his phone, there's no reason for her to get out the car and be like, give me your phone, password.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why like the debates in the comment section are like,
she just wanted to go through his phone.
yeah, bro, because it's like at the end of the day, like like she was like, dude, this is my chance. Like I'm gonna be able to go through his phone. Like he'll be so distraught, so disorganized, like he'll give me his phone. And then she's like, password, and he's like, no, you fucking idiot. My car is damaged, but I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if he's got shit in there. But either way, you know, his decision was no. And I'm like, it just goes to show, like, why the fuck is that your first instinct? Like, for you guys crash and she's like, give me your phone. For what?
Facts.
What do you need my phone for in this scenario?
Okay, so my man can't afford a fucking, what is that?
It looks like an Eclipse.
It looks like a G35. Like, bro, you can't afford a G35, my guy? You're that broke? Because it says drifting a car you can't afford. You can't afford that bucket? Like, come on, bro. Like, at first I thought it was a 350Z. That's what I thought at first. But then I was like, wait, no. The front doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, that honestly looks, at most, it's probably like a Q50. And I'm just like, nigga, you can't afford a fucking cheap-ass Affinity? Like,
I don't know what to tell you, brother.
You got bigger problems if you can't afford Affinity, bro. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and that's how I know the couple's young, because you don't do stupid shit and then, like, when something happens, you're like, oh, my life's over, dude. You're
my life is over. I can't afford an $8,000 car.
Dude,
bro.
Fuck, yeah, I mean.
Like, let's be real. All right, let's be real. You can't, if you're sitting here talking about, like, I'm drifting a car I can't afford and your car at the high end costs $8,000.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got bigger problems. I'm being real.
Yeah, being real, right? And this is not to say like he's broke or like to make fun of anyone's situation, right? It's more so because anyone in the fucking world 16 and up will eventually make $8,000, right? The cost of the fucking car.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it took it wouldn't take you a year to make $1,000, but even if it took you 8 years to make that $8,000, you'd still be able to get back on your fucking feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's the point where it's like whatever kind of car it was, whether it's like 8 to 15 grand, right? That's not gonna set you in 6 months. You'll be fucking fine, dude. You're not fucking your life's not fucking over. You don't need to call Eduardo or whatever the fuck his name was. Like it was like for me, like that's I could just tell he was young because a lot of younger people will look at it that way, where it's like, dude, it's $8,000. That's like so much. Like there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford this, whatever, yada yada yada. And it's like, no, dude, in 6 months you'll be fine, regardless of how much money you make. And even if you made $1 a day, dude, like you would still be able to eventually make chunks towards that fucking payment. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's no reason to fucking freak out. There's no reason for her to get out the car and be like, give me your phone.
Exactly, dude.
God damn it.
Yeah. I agree with the people who are like, she just wanted to go through your phone. Like, at
100%.
that point, I would have just thrown my phone at her and been like, bro, here. Like,
whether you find shit.
Yeah, whether you find some shit or not, like... I'm breaking up with you. Fuck out of here, man.
Because that was stupid.
Yeah, like if you want to see my phone so damn bad to the point where it makes me crash my car, like come on, man. Like that's crazy. That is crazy.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so this next video is absolutely insanity. I could not believe it was real. I thought it was, it's got to be AI and this and that. No, it's not. No, this actually happened. So I want to know, like, if you were in this situation, what would you do? All right. Oh shit! Hold on.
Who fell down the stairs. The woman is demanding $250,000 in compensation from 25-year-old Adam Coleman. Security footage shows that 28-year-old Sophia Reyes suddenly slipped while walking downstairs. Just as her head was about to hit the steps, Adam quickly rushed forward and caught her. His fast reaction likely prevented a much more serious injury. However, Adam was shocked when Sophia filed a lawsuit against him 2 days later. Sophia claims that she was walking down the stairs normally and that Adam suddenly appeared and startled her, causing her to lose her footing and fall. She says she suffered multiple bruises and psychological trauma.
Bruh. So you saved this woman from busting her neck on the stairs, and she's just like, no, I fell because the man scared me. And now I have psychological trauma and I want $250,000 from him.
Oh, God.
What would you do if you caught a woman and was like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, oh my God, I'm fine. 2 days later, somebody's at your door talking about, yeah, this person's suing you.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what I incur because there's a such thing as countersuing. So if... say we go through, like, at first I'd be pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be like, next time and it was probably so instinctual, he didn't even have time to, like, really think about it either.
Oh,
you know
100%.
What I mean?
It looked that way.
He
didn't even think for a second. He just grabbed her, like, oh, shit, are you good?
Yep. And it probably didn't even register that she was a woman, that she had shit in her hands, whatever, right? He was just like, oh, shit, I gotta catch this person that's falling, right? And the point I'm trying to make, though, is that in and of itself, for me, is like how I'd probably be moving forward, because instinctually I would still have that notion of, like, I need to help people if they're, like, falling, whatever. Like, that's just in his character, right?
Yeah.
The point after, though, is, like, I'd probably calm down a little bit because I'd really want to see what what basis she had for, like, this is concrete evidence of, like negligence or something on my part that, like, results in me having to pay that, right? Because it never said if he actually had to pay or what happened, right?
Yeah.
However, if the court ruled, like, yeah, you got to pay, I'd be like, all right, every person I see fall is breaking their fucking neck, dude.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm going to hit the gritty on them right after. Right? I'm going to be like, you can't sue me? Thank God you broke your neck, dude.
But what if they're just like, oh, I'm suing you because you didn't catch me? they're just in the neck thing, and they're just like, yeah, I'm suing Michael because he didn't catch me.
Yeah.
He saw me fall down the stairs. He watched me, Your Honor. He grittied over me.
Yes. And proudly I'd be like, rightfully so, Your Honor, because I was sued for helping someone last time. This time I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do and make sure that they just died.
They're just like, sir, was the gritty necessary?
The gritty was necessary. The gritty was necessary. I had my headphones in. Right as I saw him hit the ground, I was like, damn, my song came on. My part of the song came on, so I hit the gritty, dude. Had nothing to do with them. It just was convenient enough to happen at the same time.
Yeah, bro, that is funny. He said I hit the gritty over their bodies.
Gritty over their bodies, dude.
Oh, shit, man. All right. So, this next one is pretty much going to be like, I want to get your thoughts on this one, because when I heard it, I was appalled. Yeah. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is, and look, it's not all women. A lot of low IQ people try to sit there and be like, not all women, bro. But this is the majority of women that think like this, that are in, I would say the age range of like 28 to like probably 30. Well, I would say 28 to 40, if I'm being real with you. Okay. Like, this seems to be that age bracket's like mindset when it comes to dating for some reason. Okay. Some women say it, some women don't. And this lady just happened to be the one, one of those that does say it. So I want to know what you think about it. You let me know. And then you guys in the comments too, of course.
What were you saying about not having fun?
I'm done having fun. I'm done having fun. I had so much fun in my 20s. So much fun with so many men. Too much fun, honestly. I think I, reached the fun limit. But I'm serious about dating. I'm in my 30s. I have a plan. I have a time frame. I have deadlines.
Right.
I want a baby in a year. I just froze my eggs. I want a ring in 9 months, and I want to be married a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I'm looking for someone who is at that level.
Well,
and is willing to meet me at that level.
For sure. This is our first date, so
yeah,
I feel
know.
Like
that's why I'm being crystal clear, because so many men look just like you, have just wasted years of my life, and I'm so sick of it, and I'm not going to let it happen.
Well, I thought you were trying to have fun, so it's like...
No, I'm not having fun. I'm done having fun.
Right, you're done with fun now, but before...
I had so much fun.
Yeah, that much is clear.
With a lot of men.
Yeah, I'm picturing a lot of things
and
right now.
And I don't need to do it anymore. And honestly, you're really not my type. My friend told me to go out with you because she seems like you're the type that wants to settle down, so...
Okay.
Normally I don't go for you, but I feel like maybe you're at the same place in your life and my life.
I don't know. Yeah, this might not.
That's excellent. I'm very glad. Very glad that happened.
Bro. Mm-hmm. Bruh. The fucking hubris on this bitch.
I'd have been like, you're done having fun? She's like, I had fun with so much men.
Like, nah, bruh.
And we're like, well,
like, you just admitted.
Good luck being taken seriously.
Your facts, and it's weird because it's like I don't know what she thought was gonna come from that. You know what I mean? Like I get being honest, I get being upfront and all that shit, whatever. But it's like, bro. You could have just not told me any of that. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that date would have went far differently. I don't know. When I read it, it made me mad. When I watched the video the first time, it made me mad. It was one of those things where I was just like, first off, who the fuck do you think you are? Being like, oh, I have this timeline and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I think this perfectly encapsulates that first video that we watched. Like, that, I guarantee you the girl who had a baby with her bestie or whatever was like this.
Yeah.
She was this girl. She sat there and told her friend, like, oh, I'm X age now. I need to have this by this time, and I want this by this time, and this and that, blah, blah. Yeah. You're not my type. I would never go for you.
Yeah.
You are not a guy that I would ever date, but I want to have a baby with you.
Yeah. And he was just in the cuck chair like, yay!
Yeah, pretty much.
Yay!
He's like, yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Oh my God, 10 years later, I'm ready.
Thank you.
Like,
I knew this
bruh.
cuck chair would work out eventually.
Bruh.
And this guy, on the other hand, and so there's like a concept out there with like my experience in sales, and I'm gonna relate it to this, where the more front loading you do of like an emotional buy-in, the harder it is to get where you're trying to go unless you find a very specific kind of person.
Yeah.
I.e., right, like in the event of like you were like trying to sell someone something, you're like, yeah, there's a bunch of upfront fees. You have to go to our office in an hour away from your town. You have to sign up these paperwork. You have to bring in proof of residency, proof of income, you know, like all these kind of things where it's like that would make the back end a lot easier, but at the same time trying to get new customers, i.e. trying to get a new like dating partner, if you're just going to front load them with all this fucking work, they're not going to want to emotionally invest at fucking all.
No.
Because you think about it, like if you had to go to like the grocery store and you had to like scan your ID, go through metal detectors, fucking I don't know, like sign multiple waivers, look through a bunch of like bullshit, right? Like, and then you like, yeah, for memberships, yeah, like you do something like that, like, yeah, I could see it, right? Going through all of that, and then you're like, all right, I never have to do that again. That's fine. But like a lot of people wouldn't go through that to have a membership when the grocery store, Walmart, Target is right next door, and you don't have to do any of that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's along the same lines of like, dude, yeah, I have to meet deadlines. I have to fucking give you a baby. We have to have a baby. I have to marry you in a year and a half. Like, what if I don't fully know you yet because of the journey I'm on, you know?
Facts.
And then there's just like so much emotional buy-in from the jump where it's like, if you guys started, like you said, you didn't say anything, you started dating, and then you just like slowly started throwing 1, 2, 3 things on out there and see how they gauge for that kind of stuff. Then it's like, all right, like you guys are then like navigating together and trying to like actually harmoniously go about the relationship versus just like, I want this, I have deadlines, I expect this, I need someone that's gonna meet me on that level. And it's like, all right, bro, you're steamrolling, and it's going to take a very particular kind of person. And then one of the comments even said it in there, and it's the truth. 3 years down the line, you said you're done having fun, but like 3 years down the line, you're like, I'm bored, I'm not having fun. I'm going to go back to 800 dicks at once.
Facts,
and it's like,
bro.
oh my God. So not only did you front load someone with a bunch of bullshit, later on you figured out like, this is not actually what I fucking wanted. I'm not having fun.
I'm
gonna
still
go
young. I can do all that stuff.
I'm gonna go back to doing 100 dicks a day.
Damn, bro.
And it's like, oh my God, you know? So it's like, of course, for her, like, I had so much fun, right? You're not gonna go from like, I had so much fun to like, I'm gonna have no fun, right?
Yeah, boring, settling, one person.
Real growth mindset would be more so along the lines of like, dude, I really don't know why I did that. That's not what I wanted. Now, you know, I look back at it as experience, but now I have my priorities in check, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
in alignment, you know? That's more of the immature mindset that I would be looking for. But then again, I would never, if you were like, I had so much fun with a lot of men, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna, you know, like, again, the fucking
like, I'm not gonna deal with that.
I'm not dealing with that, dude.
No, fuck that.
Hell?
It's just like, like, dude, why would I want to hear that, though?
Yeah.
Why would I want to hear the fact that you had, and that this is the weird thing I don't understand about dating nowadays, and this is even in my own dating experience, is for some reason women feel like they have to flex on you.
Yeah.
I don't get that at all. The amount of times I've gone on dates with women and they sit there and just try to flex on you, where they're just
Other
like,
dudes or?
no, other women. Like I'm going out on a date with a woman, and she's just trying to flex on me.
I mean,
like,
is she flexing that she's been with other dudes?
No,
or
no,
like,
no.
what is she
Like just her accomplishments, the fact that she's got options, the fact that she's got this and that and this going on and blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, I don't give a shit. Like, why? None of this matters to me. I don't care for any of this. You know, and it's a lot of times why it doesn't get past the first date for me. I'm just like, yeah, cool, never calling you again. Immediate block, because I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand. Like, it's cool to be accomplished. Whatever. That's fine. But you don't have to sit there and then try to tell me about your accomplishments as if I care about that and I want to hear about that. No, your accomplishments are not what make a relationship fruitful for me. My accomplishments is what makes a relationship fruitful for you, but it's not the other way around. Like, I want to know that you're going to be a dutiful partner. I want to know if you're going to be somebody who can help me with my business. I want to know that you're somebody that can be by my side and, you know, support me through things that I need to go through, as well as I can be there to support you through the things that you need, obviously in a different way. But it's just like, I don't know why they use the male metric of success as like, oh yeah, this is what a guy wants to hear. I make this kind of money. I have this kind of job. I do this. I do that. And to me, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like the last girl I dated, you know, she was in IT and she always wanted to tell me about how accomplished she was, about being like the only woman in her job and division and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. None of that matters to me. Your interest in computers and stuff like that is really cool, because I build computers too, and I love that we can have that in common and talk about that. But your accomplishments in your job don't mean shit to me in the realms of what our relationship is going to look like in the future. And so that's why I turn my brain off to that kind of stuff.
Interesting. I think that's, in a way, a little like you're closing yourself off from like certain blessings, brother, because in a sense, right, I'm not saying like if women come out the woodworks and like, I made like 1,000 pottery baskets for fucking children or whatever, like that's like, all right, you know, you're generous, I get it, you know. But for the idea of like building a team, I guess, if you want to call it that, like, it sounds very business transactional, but it's like accomplishments, I think, can tell you a lot about who your partner would be, in the idea of like, can they stick to something for a long time, or do they have an actual brain in there? Because I'm sure you've come across women that also don't have a brain, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? You know, I definitely rather have someone that has accomplishments than someone that has no accomplishment and no brain. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, I agree. Like, I don't necessarily care about what the fuck you've been doing, right? But at the same time, with the right accomplishments, that does, I think, tell you a bit about how your dynamic would go. You know, like, she's like a culinary genius, and she's like, yeah, like, I've done shit for, like, as a sous chef in like Michelin star restaurants. Like, you're gonna be like,
but that's what I mean. Like, see the example you just used. Like, if she went to school for cooking and says she went to Cordon Bleu or whatever, that benefits me.
Yeah.
In our relationship, I look at it like, okay, she knows how to cook. So when I'm busy working and doing my thing, I know that she can come into my life and add that type of value of cooking me meals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But if you're sitting here talking about like, oh, I make X amount of money and this and that, and I've accomplished this and that, that has nothing to do with anything that benefits me in the relationship. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter, because women are always going to look at it like, your money is our money and my money is my money. So it's like, just in that basis alone, your money means nothing. Your career means nothing. All of that means nothing. All those accomplishments mean nothing to me, because I already know that you're in that type of frame, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that women need to change that, whatever. That is the female mind. It is what it is. That's how they look at money. So I look at it like, I would much rather a woman who does have skills like that versus skills that are business related, that are just more self-centered toward her. It's like, you know, that none of that benefits me. You're getting all the benefit, and I don't have any benefit coming out of this relationship. Yeah, it sucks to say and look at relationships transactionally, but I mean, fuck, that's just what they are. I mean, hell, you know, they even say marriage is just, it's a transactional contract.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no longer like the religious institution it used to be of two people fall in love and they get married under the eyes of God. Like, it's just not that anymore. And so, you know, with this new outlook on relationships and it being just transactional, it's like, all right, then if it's fucking transactional, daddy want to get something out of it. And if daddy ain't getting shit out of it, I'm gone. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care about those accomplishments. I want to know if you got accomplishments that will then further my life or help my life in the way that I am doing for you. Because if I put myself in a position where I can take care of you and you don't have to work, say you work electively, you know what I mean? That is an inherent benefit to you just because of my work ethic and what I do. The fact that I am able to kind of give you the freedom and the ability to kind of be in your feminine, you don't have to do all that stuff. That, again, is an inherent benefit. If you're just sitting there and you're just being this masculine figure all the time, but I get no benefit of it because you're just like, yeah, I made $100,000 this year, honey, but it's my money. So like, we're going to just live off of whatever you got going on. It's like, why would I want to be with a woman like that? Like, yeah, she's accomplished and she's got shit going on, makes a lot of money, but I benefit nothing in that relationship.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. I think because my experience with seeing a lot of people that I've talked to, where I understand that like women will trick just as easily as men, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine that was in the Marine Corps or whatever, right? Like, and I'm not gonna give too much detail because if they're watching, you know, it'll be spoiled. But like, either way, right? The woman was gonna trick for him, and he was like, "I'm not really into that, but thanks for the offer." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more so centered around like, you know, if you wanted a new PC or like new J's, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, that makes sense. They have their own money, but like, you know, she's still willing to trick. Where like, for your example of like IT. It's like the same thing for me, dude, because like you already know I have an IT background. Like that was what I did in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And so like that's what actually helped me get to where I am today, as well as, you know, you with your internet situation where it's like without my knowledge, not without, but like what helps in scenarios of like is my knowledge of IT, and that's why where a lot of the customers I had where they're like, oh, like I got the fucking newest Nighthawk in here, or I got fucking Orbeez or Google fucking, you know, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic that your routers and your home network is nice, but like your internet service provider is giving you your internet through a straw when you can have it through a fucking fire hose. And they're like, oh shit, you know, and then that really made it connect the dots. And my point is, right, because I have IT knowledge, I would appreciate someone with IT knowledge because it makes a lot of sense where it's like, I don't have to worry about our home network being compromised through the stupidity of my partner, you know what I mean? Because she has that same training, and you telling me that accomplishment is like, you know, it's the same thing with like if she was like a dental assistant, you know what I mean? It's like, well, now I'm gonna have nice teeth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or fucking if she's like a nurse, like, well, now I'm gonna be fucking taken care of at the house. Or financial planner, or what the fuck do women do? What the fuck do you guys do as jobs, right?
But that's what I mean, though. A lot of times, my thing is I rather have a group of guys that have those skills
100%,
versus my
100%,
woman.
yeah.
I would want my woman to kind of be more of, you know, my sidecar partner, where it's like she's dealing with the mundane things. She's not put in these like main role positions where, you know, they could possibly stress her out, or they could possibly put her in positions where, you know, I'm like working alongside her, and, you know, she gets stressed out, she gets this or that, and you know what I mean, it kind of fucks with her. I rather her kind of be more of that side role supporting versus like that main position of like the IT dude, the dentist, all that kind of stuff. I rather have other men that I have in my circle with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those guys are well equipped to be able to handle that stress and that, you know, urgency, that need, whatever the case may be. That's why I would want to have a group of guys in that kind of field instead of being like, oh, my girl is in that. Even if it's just another girl, like say, you know, like I know this woman and she's a dentist, whatever the case may be, and we're friends through that. Like, that's fine. I don't mind that. But I don't want my girl being in that position is what I'm saying.
Right. I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's why I look at it like I would want my partner to be complementary to me, not in the same area of what I do. And then a lot of times I don't care for a girl who has the same skills that I do. Like, I understand computers forward and backward, and if you have that knowledge too, cool, that doesn't benefit me anyway possible. It just doesn't. I'm like, I already know it, and it is what it is. Anything I need, I can look that up. I don't need your expertise on that. So again, that's another thing where it's just like, if she has the same skills as I do, again, doesn't benefit me at all. My thing is if you're able to do things that I don't necessarily have the time for, or I don't necessarily, or I'm wasting time on. Like, if I can spend more time working and then, you know, cooking or doing my laundry or cleaning shit, or like, oh, hey, can you run this quick errand for me, or whatever the case may be. Like, she's just kind of that little complimentary. She's not doing it all the time, but it's just like in those quick, oh shoot, hey babe, can you do this really quick? All right, cool, thank you. You know what I mean? It's not like she's a maid or she's a servant or anything like that. It's like, no, it's just in the small moments of time when I'm really busy and I'm like, oh shit, babe, I didn't get to this thing. Can you do it for me really quick? Oh yeah, sure, no problem. She's able to help me out with that. Like, that's where I need her to be. I don't need her to be in these roles where I would put someone like you in, where your expertise can actually bring something to that table. I don't need that for my partner. I just need her to kind of fill in the gaps. That's all I need.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because you know, that's essentially what like I would say a partnership is. It's like where you're lacking, they're able to come like swoop in and like help with those scenarios where it's like really, really hard, you know?
Yeah.
I just, from my experience, and like obviously a lot of women are going to hate this, but it's like the less that they know, the more of a liability they end up being, because in the scenarios of like in that fucking video where like they crashed or whatever, and then she's like, she has no idea what's going on, but she's like, give me your phone, give me your phone, give me your phone. And you're like, all right, now this is just a liability where it's like, you're not helping, you're being an issue, you're causing more of an issue, where like if she was like a little bit more accomplished, right, she'd be at least a lot calmer in the scenario and a lot less of a headache that I have to deal with because she knows a thing or two, you know what I mean? So that's more so what I was getting at, of like,
you don't think that comes from the man's leadership versus her competency? Just because I would think,
well, all bits of competency from them comes from like a man's leadership.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, but you're putting the onus on her. Like, oh, if she's more accomplished, then she will then be able. She wouldn't be like, oh, give me your phone, all this and that.
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think her competency would make her, because you got to realize women are slaves to their emotions. So regardless of how like educated she is and how competent she is, she's still going to act that way unless she understands like, oh, my man's got it. Why? Because I know from his prior leadership that he's got it. I don't need to be so emotional. You know what I mean? She learns from him versus her accomplishments because she's a slave to her emotions. She's going to go with her emotions regardless of like her background of having dad, accomplishments, job, whatever the case may be. She's going to go straight to her emotions. But I think the man's competency and leadership, if she can learn off of that, then she's able to go off of that first before emotions. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't think a woman's competency ever is going to override her emotions in certain situations. You know, I think it's up to the man to kind of show that competency and leadership that she can then follow.
Right, and that's the thing where it's like, I mean, more so or not, you're gonna have to eventually get her competency up anyways, because like if you're taking on like the financial burdens of things and she's becoming that liability of like, oh, I have no idea what goes on in a car, so I'm just gonna blow the bitch up, and you're like, all right, babe, you can't go blowing cars up, and then you have to educate her more on like what it takes to fucking have a car, or maintain a car, or like computer safety, or fucking like environmental safety, where you're not just like walking around with fucking your money falling out of your purse and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. I think that's more so what I'm getting at on like the competency side, where it's like good practices that also complement her ability to be away from you, but then also support you. You know what I mean? Because
I agree with that, but again, I think the man's competency teaches that. It's not her. It's nothing in her life that will teach her that. I think if you meet a girl and she already knows those things, she's learned them from a man, whether it's her brother, her cousin, dad, a male figure in her life, whatever the case may be. She learned it from a man. She did not learn that on her own merit.
Correct. And her having that before she gets to you makes it easier for you to then fit her in, where it's like, all right, I can now already see I can trust this chick with, you know, whatever type of competency task is involved, you know, versus if she's not taught that and she comes in and yeah, she may be a good partner, but she also just lacks the competency to not make your life so much of a headache with you taking on your responsibilities as a role.
Yeah.
I think is also like what necessarily I would say you would have to look for in some of these cases. Not everything, right? Like obviously, like you said, if she's like, all I care about is my career, but I want a partner, then it's like, all right, well, what's the point of that? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's why I'm like, all right, having competency can help, but it's also not. I would say it arguably is a little bit necessary, because I don't want someone that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but my thing is okay. The reason why I wouldn't want a woman like that is only because she would not know how to then follow my lead. I don't want to use I don't want to trigger people and use the word submissive or obedient, but it's just she would not be able to follow my lead because she's so used to kind of being in that independent track, like that independent mind track, where she's just like, you know, I rely on myself. I get everything done. This and that. Women think like, oh, I can just turn it off. It's like, you can't. You think you can. And you might be able to for a little bit. I always say this on the show all the fucking time. I cram this down the viewers' throats all the time. You will never change a person, and a person will never change. The reason being is because people are creatures of habit, and they always go back to their habits regardless. And they'll change for a week. They'll change for a month. They'll change for 6 months, 8 months, a year. But they will always resort back to their default, because that's just the way they are. It is what it is. Everybody's like that. And so my thing is a woman who is hyper independent like that, sure, she will play that role for a while, but then the cracks are gonna show eventually, and then it's gonna get to a point where it's like, damn, I've been with this bitch for 5 years, and now the cracks are showing, and they're mad visible. And now she's a liability. She's a headache. She's crass, rude, all this kind of stuff. And you're just thinking to yourself like, bro, what the hell happened? You know, I would just hate to be put in that kind of position. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, yeah, maybe I should have known that. Obviously, you know, we all put the blinders on in the beginning. That's why they call it the honeymoon phase. But my thing is I've been in enough relationships and I've been in enough situations where I'm just like, okay, I know what to look for, so that doesn't happen later on. So I'm not blind to it. And I rather kind of get that out of the way in the beginning versus it being like, maybe she can, you know, turn that switch. Maybe she can't, like, I'm just not going to rely on that.
I think that's interesting that you bring up, because it's like you say people don't change, but then it's like, at what point do they not change? Like since what age, or like since what event do they not change?
My thing is when it comes to people not changing, it's core habits within people. Like when people have core bad habits or they have core good habits, a lot of times it's really hard. Think about it like this. Say you are, let's say you're 250 pounds and you're just a heavy dude and you really want to get in shape. You're like, man, I fucking want to get in shape. You do it. You bust your ass. You get in shape. You go from 250 to, let's say, 180. You're looking great, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, man, I fucking did it. It took you 3.5 years to do that. Then you're like, all right, my body's where I want it to be. And then you start lacking off. You start getting a little lazy. You start thinking, I don't really have to go to the gym. It's fine. I lost all this weight. I made this accomplishment. I did what I'm going to do. I'm good. I'm fine. You know what I mean? I don't have to go to the gym this week. I can have a burger. I can do this, I can do that. And then you slowly start to go back into your old habits and ways. You spent 3.5 years, mind you, going from 250 pounds to 180 pounds. You're looking great. You did your fucking thing. But now because you've accomplished that goal and because you're where you're at, you look at it like, I can be a little lazy. I can afford to have a burger. I can do this, I can do that. And then you slowly get back into your old habits and ways and things like that, and you get a little lazy, and now you lost some muscle weight, and now you're kind of just like, my gut's coming back a little bit, but it's not what it used to be. It could be worse. It's not that bad. That's what I'm talking about.
And so what I'm getting at is like, at what point, because what you're talking about is the subconscious idea of familiarity, where like for him, he got down to that 180 and he still was subconsciously a fat kid at heart, right? Because he was familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where what I'm getting at is, at what point are you saying that like people will be who they are or have like those core ideals in them that's instilled and they can't get away from?
What do you mean at what point?
Right. So like, I mean, for you, right, I wouldn't say, because I've known you for 21 years now, right? I wouldn't by no means say you're the same person as you were 21 years ago. Yeah.
Of course.
And that's why I'm like, even 3 years ago you were different, and like, it's one of those things where like, at what point are you saying that like, or I guess what aspects are you saying are unchangeable from a person?
Okay, I see that, and that's why I use the exact phrasing of habits. They are your habits. Like, yes, I've changed in the 21 years that we've known, but I still have the same habits. You know what I mean? The same like types of things that I like. Video games, you know what I mean? We played video games back then and we still play them now. That's just kind of a core habit that we have. If a girl came into our life and was just like, you need to stop playing video games, and we're like, okay, sure, and we stop playing, well, we'll stop playing for like what, a month, you know what I mean? Maybe. And we'll go back to that same bullshit. And then she's mad and upset because we're playing video games again. It's like a lot of guys with porn. A lot of guys sit there and they're jerking their shit and they get so fucking used to that crap because, they've been doing it from when they were 16 to, when they're, let's say 21, they finally get a girlfriend and they have a girlfriend, but they're still jerking their shit. It's like, that's a core habit that, he needs to change and stop. And she's going to ask him to stop and he's going to stop. But he's only going to stop for that certain amount of time before he goes back to it. That's what I mean. So there are aspects about you that'll change, but it's your core habits is what I'm talking about. Your core habits are things that are about you that, sure, you'll change for a time. And that time may be short, it may be long, it doesn't matter. You'll go back to them regardless.
Well, okay, that's a fair point, and I think that's more so with why you're changing versus like the idea of like having core habits, right? Because the idea is, like I was saying, like your subconscious idea of familiarity, where at some point you're not gonna just like, you know what, dude, I hate shooting my own knees out, but like every day you shoot your own fucking knees out, right? Because that would be detrimental to your health. You're not gonna do something of that nature of like, I absolutely like on the daily I shoot my knees out, but like I don't want to anymore, but I'm gonna just keep doing it, because it's the idea of you're gonna do something because it benefits you. You know what I mean? Not necessarily that like you cannot change it, right? I.e. for us, video games, 100%, I still play video games. And I used to play video games in lieu of doing work. But then I realized, you know what, like, I need to stop playing video games because I want to work on my work, right? I.e. I changed the habit, like, video games are not a problem in my life, right? Like, if video games were, if they're like, the next time you play video games, you're going to go blind, there's not a fucking chance in the world I'm going to touch a video game ever again because I want my eyesight, you know what I mean? But if it's like, in 30, 40, 50 years, like you'll eventually die if you keep playing video games. It's like, well, I was going to die in that time frame anyways. Like, why would I? This is not going to change my, what I mean? Or like,
I agree with you, but at the same time, people shoot themselves in the knees every single day by smoking cigarettes. And then they justify it with a good reason. Oh, I'm benefiting because it calms me down. Oh, I'm benefiting because it helps me relax. Like, people are still shooting themselves in the knees every day, regardless.
Because it gets them something.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I mean. They don't change that core thing about them. Like, they're going to try to quit because they're like, man, I'm tired of shooting myself in the knees, i.e. smoking. But then they still do it. And they're just like, oh, or they'll find alternatives. You know what I mean? They'll find the nicotine patch, or they'll find something else. And that's what I mean. It's like, you don't change those core things. You just don't. You can change them for a time. But it's the same thing with, like, they used to tell you back in the day that masturbating too much would make you blind. You know what I mean? But that didn't stop motherfuckers from masturbating. You know, motherfuckers still masturbate. So
because they were more focused on what they got than what the issue was.
Of course. And that is where you're right. But I think where you're wrong is the fact that even if you change those core habits, whether you change it drastically or you change it subtly, it still doesn't change it. You'll still have that. You still go back to it. It's the law of familiarity. You're going to keep going back to it no matter what.
But I mean, I couldn't really agree, because there's plenty of like smokers that like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep smoking for the rest of my life. Then they get kids and they're like, actually, I'm never gonna smoke ever again, you know? And like, that's the thing where like my pops was that way, where he would drink heavily, smoke heavily. And then at a certain point, he kind of decided, like, yeah, it's not worth it to do that and set a poor example for my son. And he never smoked or drank ever again for the rest of his life. And granted, that was a certain amount of time, because he passed when I was young. But I don't see him as a person that would, like, eventually get back onto those addictions. You know what I mean? And same thing with, I guarantee you there's at least a handful of men that have accomplished the same thing, where like, yeah, I haven't touched it in years, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. That's fine. There's always going to be that you know, very small minority of people that can do it. But in generality of the majority of people just don't change. That's just what it is. I think, yeah, there are that small minority of people. Yeah, they change, they better themselves, go to AA, do the no nicotine thing, all that, 100%. But again, it just, in my experience, as well as just hearing the stories of people on the pod, it's just like, it seems like to me, and conclusively, the majority of people seem to just not change. And you see this in a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships, a lot of family situations. It seems to just go that way. And that it's why I kind of have the mindset that I have about this, where I'm just like, wow, okay, damn, I've seen over the 3 years I've done this podcast, I consistently see this over and over and over again. And I'm just like, damn. And every once in a while, I could probably count it on one hand the amount of times someone has actually changed and they stuck with it. I'm like, yeah, and that's why I agree. Yes, there are people that, you know, 100%, but I can count them on one hand. While the amount of times that people haven't changed, it's just been triple digits, I'm sure, at this point. So, I don't know. You guys let us know what you think in the comments. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? All right. We're going to watch this last video, and we're going to get the Michael's take on this video. I saw this video and was just like, God damn, man, women are fucking retarded. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's get into it.
To not be rejected because of her weight. Why is that?
For that to be a deal breaker, yes, I think it's wrong.
Wrong for a man to not want to date a woman who's 5'4" and weighs 200 pounds.
I mean, yeah, if it's simply off of that, then yeah.
Because
if he likes her in all the other ways and his only deal breaker is weight, I don't think that's right.
You're how tall? 5'7"?
5'8".
5'8". Okay, would it be wrong for her to reject a guy who's 5 foot tall?
I mean, no, because that's her preference.
Is there anything that's for you?
Probably if they smoke cigarettes, cheating.
And it's not wrong for you to reject somebody who's a smoker?
No, I mean, I just don't want to smell it. And it's unhealthy, like super unhealthy.
What if a guy doesn't want to 500-pound woman?
If it's solely because of her weight, I just think that would be mean, in my opinion.
For each person, is all I'm saying. We can't get upset with people for their ideas.
That you had to write it down.
Wait, what do you mean? Why would what matter?
Like, it matters so much to you that you have to ask everyone this.
Well, hold on. Women also have a preference when it comes to body weight too, but yeah, men don't want to date morbidly obese women, generally speaking. Is that like shocking for you to hear?
Is 500 pounds obese?
Yeah, that's morbidly obese. Is this like shocking? Friends.
It's just because you said like cigarettes is unhealthy, being 500 pounds is unhealthy.
Well, I mean, I've dated some really tall ass dudes.
Veronica, you said you're 5'4" and the minimum height you would date is 5'5".
Yeah, but
So you would reject men below 5'5".
I mean, it's just my preference. I would rather
So-
date someone who is 5'3" and above.
Okay, wait. How many boyfriends have you had?
One.
How tall was he?
6'4".
Oh, wow. Is this like, are you leaving? Is this a rage quit or?
Wow. Wow. That was awful. And I feel like that was just rage bait. There was pretty good rage bait, I'm not going to lie. But that's insane that I was surprised you didn't just straight up ask him, like, would you date a man that's 500 fucking pounds? You know what I mean? Like, fucking, you gotta, there's no way any one of them, even if he was 6'8", if he was 500 fucking pounds, couldn't move, 600 pounds, couldn't move, you had to forklift him out of bed. Like,
well, they're making the comparison of
height and weight.
Yeah. So like men don't want to date fat women and women don't want to date short dudes.
Yeah.
But it's okay for the women not to want to date a short guy, while it's bad for men to not want to date a fat girl.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think in general, preferences for me personally are a very iffy topic, because you can have preferences in a way, but also they're kind of, I think in general, very mean, right? Because and this is like, I think it's an interesting topic, because for yourself, right, I'm sure you have preferences, you know.
Of course.
Even I have preferences. I don't let my preferences limit me. I won't say I don't. I wouldn't let my preferences limit me. However, right, it's the idea of like when people are like, oh, like I only date black girls, or I only date white women, or I only date, you know, people that are shorter than this or taller than this, whatever, right? It's like, all right, you're attributing a negative to anything that's outside of that. And that's what I mean, where it's like, if you let your preference limit you, then it's kind of just, in my opinion, fucked up, right? I.e., am I saying that, like, you should be so open that, like, no matter what range you're in, you should be open to it? No, because that's just not how humans are. Like, biologically, it wouldn't make any sense to date someone that's like, oh yeah, like I fucking love dating terminally ill women or men or whatever. It's like, all right, that's you know, that's like against biology, you know, like that's.
But Rig 4, I deserve a 6-foot guy that makes $100K a year. I deserve that.
Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, the la la land that women live in, where they say they deserve any fucking thing, is insane. You know what I mean? Because you're inherently, if you're saying you deserve a 6-foot whatever man because you're some attractive woman, you're saying that there's women out there that don't deserve it because they don't look like you.
That's fact.
And that's insane. And no, any woman could. No,
you
because
said that you deserve
it, right? You said you deserve it. And what do women do? A lot of women will be like, let me get uglier, less attractive friends. We'll all take pictures. We'll all go out together. And men will come up to me more because I'll look that much better in comparison.
Damn. Cook them.
And you can't tell me that they don't do that, because that's proven. That's from a woman's mouth. That's from women's mouth that they do shit like that. And I have so many. I have a long, illustrious line of fucking proof of women doing hateful, jealous shit. And I should have sent it in, but there was a fucking woman that drugged her friend at a club and just let her fucking, with shrooms, let her trip out by herself with no fucking help because she was jealous of how she looked. She felt like her friend looked better than her. And I'm like, you can't tell me that women don't judge each other and try to fucking kill each other based off of their looks. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm getting at. You saying like, oh, I deserve X, Y, and Z because I'm a woman and I look this way, is like, nope. You're saying that women that don't look like you deserve a lot less.
bruh.
And it's crazy that people will fucking sit there and say shit like that, like, oh, it's just a preference, it's just whatever. It's like, no, it's not a preference. It's I forget, the woman said mean, and I don't want to use that word mean, but it's a fucked up metric, you know, of like you fucking selectively check on what a partner should be. You know what I mean? And what I'm getting at is the more so extremes where it's like, I only date tall black men, and it's like, all right, there could be a tall white guy that treats you right, or a tall Hispanic or Asian that treats you right, and you're gonna be like, no, because you're not black. That's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's just preference. And it's like, all right, well, I have a preference of a woman that doesn't get out of breath getting out of bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, or like, you know, if I'm gonna have kids with a chick, she's gonna have to play with them like I play with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you get out of breath trying to chase your kids around, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I by no means, like, a preference for me would be a woman that doesn't pawn her kids off on her family members. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that's that shit, dude. So many women are like, oh, like, where's the baby at? Oh, with her grandma. I'm out here shaking ass, or you know what I mean? It's like, all right, bro, like, you fucking, this is what deserves a 6'8", 6-figure fucking dude.
Yeah,
like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's so ass, bro.
Ooh, all right, man. They're burnt. She's charred. She's as dark as an African, man. God damn. She's dark as a Somalian pirate at this point.
Low honor on these fucking women.
Oh my god. But yeah, dude, I just think that is so crazy that they have that mindset. Like, men cannot have standards. That, to me, that concept to me is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro, come on, man. But hey, you said enough. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna throw any more into there. You cook. I was like, god damn, he was cooking. It smelled good. It tastes good. I was over there eating it up, man. God damn, dude. Because it's true. Everything you said, 100% true. You hear it even from women. That's the crazy part about it. Like, when you threw that part in, I was like, facts.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've heard that from women. Like, that is wild to me. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, he cooked enough. I'm gonna just shut up. Let's move on.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna get to the announcements of the episode, and then we're gonna get into our thread, and then you guys a scenario. So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast, get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as beginning to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show, like these lovely people did for today. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are absolutely killing, and you continue to kill it. Thank you guys so much for coming out every week, downloading the episodes, listening, hanging out with your boys, and all that good stuff. If you guys want to help out even more, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. All of that helps out tremendously. I love you guys, and I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support, your love, support, comments, all that kind of stuff, your requests, you're sending in your videos, sending in your scenarios, all that kind of stuff. If you want more of me or more advice from me, whatever, you can just go ahead, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, MikeLife333. I talk about protecting your family. I think it's so important just to at least open your mind to the idea of protecting your family, because it all ties in together, right? My sales experience, my experience with life insurance, all that kind of stuff, and I just go over some of the more nuanced things that people should be thinking about on their day-to-day lives. So if you want more, you want to hear more, if you want more of me, just me in general, go ahead, follow me on those preferred platforms.
All right, yes, and I do have it on screen for you guys. It's like right around there somewhere, so I got it over him. So yeah, check them out. Links are down in the description, all that good stuff. Without further ado, though, we're going to get into today's thread. So today's thread was pretty good. I went ahead and asked the lake community to then give you their best pickup line. All right, guys, girls alike. So we're going to see if your pickup lines pass the Michael test. He's going to either give you a if he likes it, or he'll give you a if he doesn't. All right. So he's gonna make sure you got those buttons all nice and queued up. Okay. All right. So our thread for today is, what is your best pickup line? All right. So let's get to it. Walk up to two chicks at a party. Did you two come together? No. Do you want to?
That's a W.
All right, okay.
Do you want to? Yeah.
What makes it a W?
Honestly, so that I say it's a W because it's one of those things where like you'd have to land it really, really well, and this is not like an average Joe kind of shot, but at the same time, like that definitely if they're looking for a good time, that's gonna fucking land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's gonna get the door open, and you're gonna have to maneuver after that, right? Like that's gonna be a shot, but you're gonna have to have a good follow up after that. You know?
Yeah, that's true. And man, your bed game is gonna have to be good.
Yeah,
Woo, man!
Yeah.
You better have some dick game to follow that one.
Facts.
All right. What is your best pickup line? Do you know the difference between a mosquito and me? A mosquito stops sucking when you slap her. I don't know, man. I feel like that was.
Is that from a woman?
That was a woman. That was from a woman. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. That one would work on me. I'd be like, oh yeah. Okay, look, we talked about this in a previous episode where I was like, I can't really slap or like be rough with a girl because I don't know. I look at my girl like $100,000 Rolex. Like you wouldn't just scratch your Rolex on purpose, and that's something for me where it's like it would be hard to do, but hearing it would be hot. Hearing it, I'd be like, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm hard in my trousers right now. But, actually slapping her, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. But I don't know. That would work on me. But I guess, I don't know.
Nah, it would depend on the delivery. But even still, I just kind of feel like, and this could be a little bit biased, but at the same time, I've heard some good ones from women. It's just women kind of deliver it wrong, you know? They kind of just feel like whatever they say will land because we're men, dude, and like that's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
I'm like, all right, yeah, like it depends on the delivery, but just typically speaking, I've heard that one before, and so it's like, all right, yeah, that one didn't land really before. It didn't really land this time. So
all right. We'll move on to the next one. What is your best pickup line? Hey, do you like guys who shit their pants?
Oh God. You know what? I think that's a W.
Really?
I think that's a W.
Why is that a W?
Because either way, you have something to like go off of, she's like, ew, no, and you're like, thank God, yeah, I don't do that shit, you know what I mean? Like you'd have to really like play it up where it's like, that's exactly why I'm here, because I'm not one of those dudes, you know what I mean? I don't know who you've been fucking with where they do that, you know? And then from there they're like, oh shit, that was kind of funny, you know what I mean? And if they're like, yes, then you're like, okay, there's a new commitment here that I might have to try, but she's open, I think it's a W. I think it's a W either way. Yeah.
All right. You're more of a smooth operator than I am, I guess, because I would have not been able to spin that like that. All right. Hey, that's why
you got to be really good at that shit though.
Yeah, that's facts.
Like there's nothing stopping a woman from like what the fuck and just walking off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. All right. What's the funniest pickup? What is your best pickup line? Are you the head of HR? Because I'd like to take you to a concert.
What?
Yeah. I'll read it again. Are you the head of HR? Because I'd like to take you to a concert.
HR? Concert? What the fuck is a concert?
Well, what does human resources have to do with a concert?
That's why I'm like, maybe concert means something a little bit different. It's not like a music concert. It's like a conference or something. I don't know. If we don't fucking get it, she not gonna fucking get it.
She ain't gonna fucking get it. Nah, bro. All right. What is your best pickup line? If you were a monkey, you'd be the hottest ass monkey.
Jesus Christ.
Bruh.
What the fuck are y'all doing,
man?
Dude?
Come on, man. You say that to a black girl, bro, you dying.
You're dead. Like, yeah, you're fucking.
You're dying, bro. Like, come on, man. All right, moving on. Come on, man. All right, what is your best pickup line? Can you touch my shirt? Does that feel like boyfriend material?
Bruh.
So, because I've seen it land, I'm gonna give it a W. You know what I mean? Like
right,
that one's a very delivery heavy.
She's gotta like you already.
Yeah,
yeah, she's gotta like you already for that to work. Like that's not gonna work on a girl you're building attraction with. She'll probably give you a pity laugh, but she ain't fucking you over that.
And like, yeah, it's just one of those things though where like the delivery really makes it right. You can't just go up to her like, hey, feel my shirt, feel my, you know what I mean? Like you gotta let like slide into it where it's like, hey, like I saw you, know what I mean? Like I really like your style, it's cool, you know. And like, if she gives you that compliment back of like, oh yeah, like you know your shirt's pretty cool, it's like, oh really? I was just like, I kind of felt like the material was like a little bit off. Like what does it feel like to you? Does I feel like, you know what I mean? And then you go into it from there, you know what I mean?
Hey man,
and then they're like, wait, what? You know, you let it, you gotta like land it well, you know what I mean? It's not like something you can just like. So I'll give it a W. You know what I mean? You just gotta land it well. You know?
Hey man, Again, you smoother than I am, bro. I would have never been able to throw it that. That's why I've never used that shirt line before, because I wouldn't know how to, implement that in as smooth. I would be the dude that's just like, feel my shirt, like
feel my shirt. Go to a bunch of ladies like, feel my shirt, lady.
Yeah, like that would be me. I ain't gonna lie to you. That would be me. I would not be as smooth with it. I just wouldn't. All right. What is your best pickup line? Here we go. If you dump your boyfriend, I'll buy you an ice cream cone. Wait, well, this actually worked on her. She said that my husband of 20 years.
What?
Yeah.
I guess I gotta give it a W.
I get, yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. 20 years.
20 years. W.
I wonder where the boyfriend is right now that got dumped over some fucking ice cream.
That's insane.
He had to have been like
a shitty boyfriend.
Yeah, the shittiest dude possible.
Where she was like, yeah, ice cream, I'm down. Fuck this, man. That makes sense, you know. Let's go ahead and get it out.
Bro. Yeah, bro. If you're dying over fucking ice cream, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, what is your best pickup line? Let me show you a mediocre time.
Okay.
Bruh.
I give that one a W because it's like a pattern interrupt where like she's expecting something cheesy or whatever, and she's like, like I said, it just depends on the delivery, but like for that one, yeah, I could see it being like a pattern interrupt where it's like, let me show you, instead of saying,
how would you implement that as smooth as you are, suave?
That one's a little difficult because you kind of gotta like, I don't think any of these would like land right off rip, you know?
No. Yeah, no. I'm talking about like you've already said hi, you've introduced yourself, you know her name at this point, and you're like, all right, I want to turn the heat up a little bit with a pickup line.
So you might have to like, and this is just me grasping because I haven't heard this one before, but it'd be like, oh, like what are you guys out here doing? You know, like you're out at a bar, or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm here with my friends. Or like, oh, you're looking for a good time, and then she's like, yeah, and then like, oh, well, I could let me show you a mediocre time, and she's like, what the fuck, you know, like it might land a little bit different where it's like. She's expecting like, oh, I could show you a good time. You know, like everyone says that, you know, but like I said, it just really depends on how it lands.
Yeah, I think it's a W because it's different. I think any time that you can be like vastly different where she's never heard that shit before, I think that immediately gets you at least 2 points with the girl because she looks at it like, wow, okay, 1 for being different and then 2 for being a little creative. Yeah. You know,
the main way it'll land is if she believes otherwise, right? Like if you're like a 6'4" black dude ripped and you come up with like, oh yeah, dude, I'm not hung or whatever, like that idea is gonna be funny to her because she's like, there's no way this dude's not hung, you know what I mean? And it's the same way where it's like if you're building like attraction, being like playful, funny, and she's like, you're like, I'll just show you a mediocre time. She's like, there's no way this man's actually gonna do that. You know what I mean? That's just him being. That's different, you know. And it's funny because he's, you know, I already don't think that of him, you know. So like that's where like the pickup line should land a little bit better, you know.
Okay. All right. What is your best pickup line? Anyways, I'm not interested.
That's a W because the mismatch idea in their mind is like, what the fuck? I didn't say you were.
Oh yeah, because it kind of turns the dynamic a little bit around.
Yeah.
She's gonna be in her ego a little bit, like, wait, what? What do you mean you're not interested? Why are you not interested? Oh, I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
You're not interested in me.
There's a good clip of it. I don't remember. I don't know the streamer's
Yeah,
names or whatever.
it's the dude. He's like on Omegle or some shit, and he's just like, "You're not my type. You're not my type." And the girl is just like, "What do you mean? You're not my type?" Oh no. He's like, "Yeah, no, I just told you you're not my type." Is it that video?
No, they're like doing it's like, I forget where. I've seen a couple clips, but they're like in a white room or whatever, and they're like facing each other at a table, and like I don't know how to explain what the show is because I don't know the show.
Oh, it's one of those like YouTube dating show
Yeah, I
things.
think so.
Yeah.
And so like the dude's like sitting there, like they're getting to know each other, and the woman's like, oh, like I wouldn't want to like move in with a dude, and like we have to have our own separate houses and blah blah blah. And then he's like, thank God I do not want to move in with you. And then she's like, wait, why? Like, what do you mean? And then she starts trying to qualify herself to him, like, well, I'd be a good roommate, and like, you know what I mean? So it's like that reverse mismatch psychology there.
Okay. All right. What is your best pickup line? Hey, do you like stars? My friend has been dating that girl for 4 years. Yeah, I don't think that would land, bro.
Yeah, I think that one's just very nuanced, where she probably did like stars or something. You know what I mean? I guess if she was already fucking outside staring up at the stars, and you're like, hey, do you like stars? Or I don't fucking, I
mean, my thing would just be like, if I'm looking at stars and you're like, do you like stars? I'm like, no shit, nigga. I'm looking at them because I fucking hate them. Like, bruh. All right. What is your best pickup line? Me. Are you looking to have the best sex you've ever had? Her. No. Me. Well, you're in luck because I suck at it.
Yeah. That's a W, because that's like one of those things where, like I said from the earlier one, if they have this idea of like, there's no way this man's like being honest, right? With this level of confidence, him just approaching me in such a smooth manner, there's no way like that's an actual like real statement about you. And But like I said, it just depends on the delivery and like her perception of you already. Like you can't just like come up, tap a fucking woman on the shoulder and be like, are you looking for good sex? Because then she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Get away from me, dude. Actually kill this man.
Man.
Because if you get that, like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then you're in luck because I'm terrible. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Then it, like, lands a little bit smoother. She's like, oh, dude, like, this motherfucker's funny. You know what I mean?
All right, we'll do 2 more, and then we're going to end the thread and get into you guys' scenarios. So, what is your best pickup line? Are you an organ trafficker? Because you've stolen my heart. Okay.
That one's like cheesy, but like, yeah, like I said, I think that falls in line with the one of like, do you like stars? It's like very nuanced.
Yeah.
It's got to be a girl that's into cheesy shit like that.
That's true. And not a lot of girls are really into cheesy anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Okay. What is your best pickup line? Let's see. Okay, would you like to come and watch some porn on my widescreen mirror? This nigga, bruh.
What did he say?
Alright, bro. Why'd you have to be the last one? Like, what the fuck? Of course that's a failed, bro. Why would you think that's a pickup line? Hey, girl, you want to come back to my place and watch some porn on my widescreen? Like, bruh.
That one is terrible.
Bruh, come on, man. Nah, you deserve that. You deserve to get fucking laughed at, bro. That's ridiculous. Now, I wanted to ask you, since we're on this topic of I guess, like, you know, corny pickup lines and stuff like that, do you think in 2026, okay, that being a quote unquote like corny dude or like a damn it, like a corny dude or like a what's the other word? We had just said it.
I don't remember.
But okay, No, not that. But like being a corny dude or just being like whatever. Do you think that gets girls in 2026?
I think it can. I think it's very nuanced, though. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it kind of goes in cycles where like corniness works, then it stops working, then corniness works again, and then it stops working and starts working. You know what I mean?
So do you think in 2026 we're at that point where it doesn't work, or it does? For the majority of women,
I would say probably for right now, for the majority of women, no, because it's one of those things where like, as you can see, a lot of women are just on bullshit. They're tired of having fun with 50 dicks at once, and you know, it's like I think right now they're not in the mood for like corny shit where eventually they're gonna get a long dry spell, and then they're gonna eventually like the corny shit's gonna come back, and I'm like, oh, you know what, like it's not so bad, like he's corny, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, there's been a lot of like debate, especially with, I forgot what podcast it was, but I know Nick Cannon and I think like Charlemagne and some other guys were all on this panel, right? And they were talking about like dating nowadays, and they're like, oh yeah, women love corny dudes. The women love when dudes are corny and this and that and da-da-da. And Charlemagne and another dude were just like, no, they don't. Yeah. They don't fucking like corny dudes at all. Like, yeah, they may accept your corniness because you got money, you know what I mean? And you're a celebrity to some degree. But like an average dude cannot sit there and be corny and get girls. No. And I'm like, facts. I believe that. And then they, you know, they want to bring it into like, oh, but like back in the day when I was in high school, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nigga, that was in high school.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nigga, yeah, you can get away with being corny back in the day because we didn't have internet like that. We didn't have, you know, women didn't have the options they have now, blah, blah, blah. But like nowadays, bro, you can't be corny for nothing. Yeah. They're going to disqualify you right off the bat. And I agreed with that. I wanted your take on it, though.
No, yeah. I mean, it makes sense because even anywhere you look, a lot of people are looking to disqualify anything in front of them as quickly as possible now. So.
All right, let's get on into you guys' scenarios. Our first one is, do I owe him an apology?
Most likely.
Yeah, you probably do. Been talking with this guy yesterday during a silence over call. He asked me if I missed my ex. I said no and asked him back, and he said he misses the closeness with his ex. I got weirded out and told him I don't like talking to people that have their ex in the back of their heads, and said I don't miss her. Hold on. I read that wrong. I don't like talking to people that have their ex in the back of their heads. And he then said, I don't miss her. When I missed her, I'd think of her when I'd see things she'd like, but I knew I moved on when I didn't do that anymore. But I miss having that closeness when you're vulnerable. He doesn't usually talk about his ex, but this stressed me out. I wasn't being very chatty after he knew something was up and asked if I felt weird. I'm very insecure about exes, so as immature as this sounds, because I felt awkward and wanted to even it out, I said something weird that I did with an ex of mine. I told this guy that I felt insecure about exes and that in my last relationship, I needed to know who my previous partner's exes were and how they looked like. I basically stalked his Insta to find them based on the info he had told me regarding their names and ethnicity. Girl,
you are what the fuck is wrong?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
After this, we ended up chatting normally during the rest of the call, but now I'm worried. I know I came off immature and weird. Do I owe him an apology?
Yes. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier in the fucking show, dude. It's like he just got used to having closeness with that you can only get from probably a partner, you know what I mean? And if anything, that was like I would say a key point for you to be like, dude, we could get there. You know what I mean? Or some shit like 100%. That. You know, like if you're looking for closeness, like I'm open to vulnerability or whatever, right? Like you could express to him, like, I get that, because like he said, he doesn't miss her because of those things that would remind him of her. He would think of her, right? I know that was a little confusing, but the idea is like, he realized he moved on because that shit doesn't happen anymore, and he just understands that when he's vulnerable, much like anyone does, right? Even myself, dude. Like I can guarantee you I would never step foot back in the Marine Corps, but I do at certain times have nostalgia or like think of the Marine Corps and like, oh shit, you know what, like that was like pretty fun, or like whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? But by no means would I like let that stop me from moving forward and like, you know what, I'm not gonna do any other job, I'm gonna try to get back in the Marine Corps, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with like exes, where like, I mean, I couldn't relate it wholeheartedly there because I don't have any exes that like I ever had closeness with or feel that way with, right? But the idea is still similar, because it's like he understands you guys are not that close yet, and he understands that closeness that he had before is gone, so like he misses that closeness. And for you to be like, well, let me do something immature, is like, bro, like you were focused on the absolute wrong part of what the fuck he was talking about, dude. And this is what we were talking about, is like that when you have a lack of competency in anything, right, emotional competency, you know, whatever, you just become a liability, because he opened up to you and then you were like, well, I'm gonna make it worse. Yeah, I mean,
exactly. But see, at the same time, that was a lot of lack of his leadership as well. You know, like I mentioned before, it's like the way he should have handled a lot of that is because, look, I've been in that situation. I won't lie to you. I've been in that situation where, you know, I had an ex that meant a lot to me. And yeah, I get nostalgic about her and I think about her every once in a while, but it's never something where I'm like, oh, I want to go back to her. Oh my God, I love her or nothing. It's more of just like when I talk to women and I let them know, like, oh, because a lot of women ask, and I don't know why they do, but they do. They ask, you know, oh, like, you know, were you ever married and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, no, I was once engaged, and that's about it. And then they want to go further deep into it instead of just that. And I tell them, you know, and I let them know, but I let them know in a way where it's just like, no, like, this is why we broke up. This is what happened. You know what I mean? But I am over it. Like, I used to, okay, for example, this is the best way to, I guess, explain it. I was on a date with a girl and we were talking. And she asked me, you know, have you ever been married before, or do you have any kids or whatever? And I'm like, all right, that's fine, I guess, because of my age. And I'm like, no, I've never been married, but I have been engaged once before. And she was like, oh, what happened with that? Why is it that you guys broke up? I told her then why we broke up. And she was like, okay, I can understand that, whatever case may be. And I was like, yeah, you know, it was really hard for me to like get back into dating, because it always felt like whenever I was out on a date with a girl, I felt like I was cheating on her. You know what I mean? It was tough for me to get out of that, but I think now I'm at a point now where I'm out of that. I feel a lot better about it, and I'm able to go on dates with a girl, or, you know, with you, and, you know, not feel that way anymore. And I feel like that's growth within myself, you know. And I think for him, he may have said it to you in a way where it just only made you feel insecure. It's like, it's kind of how you word things with women, because a lot of times women care more about how things are said versus what is said. And so it's like, for the man's lack of competency in this is his lack of understanding how to say something to where she will receive it in a way that allows her to understand, like, this is not an attack on you. This is not like me comparing you or anything like that. Yeah. This is just, hey, this is an aspect of a past relationship that I want with you in the future. Yeah. But I think his lack of competency, he just didn't, you know, and I think that's what caused her lack of competency to then show. And that was kind of like where it, because like you said, it starts and it ends with the man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm phrasing it in the way that I am, where it's like, it's his lack of competency that creates her lack of competency.
I think in like, to add to that is like, I think what he could have done is like you said, like, oh yeah, I do miss the closeness, but I'm actually very excited to see where we're gonna go. You know what I mean? Because it could be like that much better, whatever. But I also feel like, because we kind of, as men, just answer questions like flat out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really like to go into like a fuck ton of detail about like all the aspects of what I'm giving as an explanation. So like, yeah, he could have, like you said, handled it better, but I also feel like he was probably just answering like a man, like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's whatever, like, I fucking miss the closeness or whatever, but not her, like, for sure, you know. And then
at the same time, that's just, again, that's like the lack of competency on him. It's like, you got to understand when you're talking to a woman, dude, you kind of got to change that like way that answer filter.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's just understanding and knowing like when to be a certain way. Because like if I'm talking to a woman, I know I have to over explain fucking everything. It sucks and it's annoying, but I know I have to do that because she's gonna have 1,000,001 questions, or she's gonna take it wrong, whatever the case may be. You know, again, I think that's the reason why the last girl I was talking to, I remember I showed you the text messages and stuff like that. I think the last girl that I was talking to, I did that. I answered her in a way that I would answer a dude, thinking like, oh yeah, you know, she's gonna get what I'm talking about. She didn't. Flips off the handle and is just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Yeah. And it's so that's my lack of competency in that situation of like, dude, you knew who you were talking to. You should have over explained it, or you should have said it in such a roundabout way to where she wouldn't feel like attacked or upset about it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, honestly, that just sounds like a lot of headache, and
I get it.
It's up to him to really deal with that kind of headache, and that's why I'm like, dude, you got to. I mean, you know, my advice for you is kind of like, you just apologize and try to move forward with more of the idea of like, this is like, this guy has the best intentions for me. It's my insecurities are not reality, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That'll help you out, and then he'll learn his competency, where you can even tell him what we said, where it's like, hey, if you had said, you know, I missed the closeness, but I'm excited to see where we go, that would have made me feel better. Is that how you felt? Or like, you know what I mean? And then get more of his perspective on it.
Because
you know?
I guarantee you he was doing exactly what Michael said, where he was just fucking answering the question.
Yeah.
He wasn't giving any detail or any extras to it. He just answered the fucking question. And obviously you can't do that with women because they're weird. But yeah, this is what it is. All right, we're going to get on to our next one. The relationship suddenly got real and scary. I need advice. About 6 months ago, I, 30 female, met a man, 34 male, who became my boyfriend. Yeah, dude is never going to say, oh my God, it got real, dude. It got fucking real. I don't know what to do, man. No fucking dude. And dude is going to be like, it got real, bro. Like, I'm about this shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Who became my boyfriend. A year and a half ago, he got out of a very long marriage where his ex was unfaithful and which left deep emotional wounds in him. He says he is over it and moved on, but there may be some residual scarring. Our relationship has been perfect. He is happier than ever. I found someone I was over the moon about. I honestly couldn't tell you who loved who more. It was his birthday a month ago. His ex never did anything special for him in 15 years, so I thought that was sad and unacceptable. And I put in what I thought was a minimal effort. Buying a cake and candles, having his kids sing happy birthday, and pull party poppers.
Aww.
Why would you go minimal effort, though? Why wouldn't you go, like, the full extent? Like, that's kind of crazy. All right. I don't think he ever received that sort of care. Other miscommunications happened shortly before and after that time between us. Things I wouldn't think are unresolved or insurmountable. But nevertheless, he started slowly withdrawing from me. Conversations were beyond surface level. He stopped including me in his world. I was the only one reaching for physical touch and affection. Now I am unsure, or I'm not sure if this is at all relevant, but he and his ex never really communicated deeper issues or disagreements. He stopped trying because she was always defensive or shut him down, which I have not purposely ever tried to do amongst his withdrawal. He started to feel like every conversation we had, I disregarded him and his opinions. We talked it out, and I thought we were fine. But he decided that wasn't the root cause of the issue, just a symptom. We had another conversation in which he had categorically did not have to choose magic feelings for me now. Wait, what? I think she meant did not have those magical feelings for me anymore. I think that's what she meant. He wants them back, to go back to how we were, but he doesn't know how and doesn't know if he can. I gave him space to think and came back and had another conversation. He realized that suddenly this relationship has been getting serious, aside from telling each other 2 months prior that we do see long-term potential with each other, and it has scared him. Sorry. We both came to the conclusions that his past relationship has triggered a fear that his relationship will also cause immense pain, and subconsciously he thinks his relationship may as well end and to save the future now. Let's see. He still adores me as a person, but has become emotionally numb towards me. He doesn't want to lose me, but doesn't want to hurt me by leading me on. He is not confident that his feelings will come back. I know he is being honest about his inner feelings. I guess I am just after some perspective for anyone who has experienced this or has advice from the other side.
That's a very, very interesting one.
So I guess because his lack of, commitment because of his ex is making him pull back, and so that's why she's scared about the relationship getting deeper.
Yeah, I think, and this is going to be a little rough, but I think dude is just kind of weak in a way.
Yeah.
He's too weak in order to move forward, right? And it's a concept in all aspects of life where you let past burns affect your future rewards, right? Where a lot of people will get into this mindset of and you can have any example from anything fit this narrative, but it's it's the same reason why people feel only some people are meant for large amounts of money, or some people are meant to go to the Olympics, or it's one of those things where there are certain things that genetically play into it, but at the same time, it's mentality, right? Of for him, for your example, for him, he says he's over it. He's like, oh yeah, but 15 years is a long time, right? It's like you were saying earlier, habits are very hard to break, and I'm not one to say they can never break, because I don't believe in never or always, right? But it's one of those things where for him, it's very clear that he has some habits and leftover trauma that's holding him back, because love is not always pretty. You know what I mean? So the idea of when you don't feel it, you back off and you're I don't feel this. I don't want to put in effort. That's when you got it. The same thing for the gym, the same thing for your work, the same thing for anything, right? You still I don't really feel like it today. Well, show up and do it anyways, you fucking asshole. You know what I mean? You're not gonna achieve the end goal of a healthy, great relationship if you only do things when you feel like it. You know what I mean? And so for him, I feel like he's allowing himself to be well, I was hurt before, so it's just easier if I break things off now. And it's well, that's just fucking pussy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea of what makes life, relationships, anything, right? I know for myself today, right? Because I hold love for rally, right? I know for myself today, if I fucking crashed in a rally car, had a near-death experience, and recovered to where I could drive again, I would go out and drive again. I've gotten car accidents before. They've scared me, not because I drive recklessly, but just because I've been in an accident as a human. But they've scared me, but that doesn't stop me from driving and going back out and doing things, right? I don't let past experiences hold me back from future blessings. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things of if you think about it logically, right? When rubber bands expand backwards, they launch you forward into something new, right? What most people are thinking is oh, I'll probably stretch back and fucking crash into a wall or some shit. You know what I mean? And what I'm getting at is that stretch back is you putting in the work to recover from the emotional damage, right? Of 15 years is a long fucking time. So there's gonna be a lot of deeper inner work where you're you have to make that subconscious familiar of I'm safe now. Things are safe now. My partner's accepting. My partner's open. My partner loves me. My partner has my best intentions moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really just on him, right? At the end of the day of him oh, fucking my ex was this way, so women are this way, or like my ex was this way, so I don't know if I can trust moving forward. It's like those are all paradigms from him. You know what I mean? You are trying to be a lot better, and you being better helps the fact of him like, all right, things could be better, but at the same time, it's like I said before, dude, like people will gaslight themselves into anything, even out of their own blessings, where it's like, this woman's being so good to me. This is all a trick, dude. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? And it's like at that point, you're just he's too weak to move forward. You know what I mean? He's too comfortable in the idea of like, I'll just stay here where like I know it hurts, but I'm not gonna put myself in a vulnerable situation to be hurt again by another woman because this is what's familiar to me. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where it's like people will not sit there and shoot themselves in the kneecap every day unless they really feel like that's better for them than the pain of the kneecaps and the lack of the ability to walk. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if I don't have to get up and go outside and face the world by shooting myself in the kneecaps, I'll do that every day. You know what I mean? Versus, like I'll go out there and whatever's out there is not going to be worse than shooting myself in the kneecaps. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case. Or it's going to be a lot better than shooting myself in the kneecaps is what I mean. Mm-hmm. So that's like my take. Is like he's being weak. He just needs to do inner work that he needs to work on. And then from there, you guys will have an actual real relationship is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with most of it. But also at the same time, I kind of think that dude may not be really like wanting to be as serious with you as you think he does. It could be that he's weak. It could be that, he's having all this stuff hold him back. But I think a lot of times people use that as an excuse, or they use that as like, okay, in dating, a lot of times, there are girls that will do this thing where, they like to put up walls. They sit there and they'll be on a date and they'll be like, oh, my ex did this and my ex did that. And, I'm traumatized and hurt because of this and I'm broken and blah, 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 blah. To me, I look at it like a guy or a girl that is actually in a relationship or talking to or dealing with somebody that they're actually with. They're not going to let that stuff affect them. They're just not. Sure, it may affect them in their solitude, but they will deal with it and make sure that their partner or the person that they're talking to does not see that side or does not have to deal with that just because they look at it like, I don't want to come off as this unstable person. I don't want to come off as somebody weak. I don't want to come off as somebody who, is dealing with problems or is problematic in general. So what they do is they then, I wouldn't say hide it, but they just kind of deal with it in solidarity and they move forward. But I think the fact that he's kind of bringing it up and, it's like, oh, this is getting too serious for me and this and that just tells me that he didn't think that this relationship with you was going to get that far. And I think he kind of got to a point where you guys were talking, it was casual, it was fun, you guys were having sex, doing your thing, and then out of nowhere, you wanted more, and then he's like, okay, I could see that, I could see us doing more, whatever, that's fine, and then it goes fast forward a year, and he's like, fuck, I'm still with this chick, like, damn, I didn't think I was still gonna be with her, like, dude, I don't really like her like that. I don't really see her like that, man. Now that shit's getting deeper and she wants to talk about, deeper shit and whatever, I'm not really into it. And I think he kind of just grabs onto that and uses that excuse, to justify and to not seem like an asshole, not to seem upset. I don't know. That's just kind of what it's giving me, because it's like, dude, if your relationship is so great and you guys are talking about, oh, I don't know who loves who more, and oh my God, we're so fantastic, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden this shows up. It just kind of shows me that it's like, I think homie was just putting on a show for you. He put a mask on, told you what you wanted to hear, to keep clapping cheeks. Didn't think it was going to get this far. And then when it finally got this far, he's like, oh shit. Oh my God. I didn't realize that I was doing all this for so long. Time flies when you're having fun. And so he looked at it like, oh crap, now that things are getting serious, I'm not really into this anymore. Because I'm not really into you like that, like having fun and being casual. Sure, I could do that with you all day, but being serious with you, nah, probably not. Again, I don't know. I would like to hope that it's more of just, he's just mentally fucked up and he's got trauma or whatever. But there's been a lot of times I've seen that happen too, where, the dude is just kind of putting a mask on the entire time and he's just like, oh no, you thought I liked you like that, but no.
I think that's very interesting, and that is a possibility, 100%. So I never thought of it that way, merely from the fact of, like, he was in a relationship for 15 years. So I feel like in the beginning of their 15-year relationship, they probably had really good chemistry pretty similarly. So I see both sides, though, where it's like, I mean, I don't know what kind of dude he is, so he could get out of the 15-year relationship and be like, I'm ready to move forward. But at the same time, I think it's very unlikely because, I mean, 15 years is a long time to instill habits.
That's what I based my entire, like, thought process on, though, is because when you get out of a 15-year relationship, you're not looking to jump into something serious again. You're kind of at a point where you're like, I'll go out and, like, you know, be casual with girls and stuff like that. Like, that's fine, but I'm not looking for anything super serious right now because I'm still healing from that 15-year relationship. And I think it started casual with this girl, and he's just like, yeah, no, I'm not looking for anything serious. I just got out of a, long marriage. So I'm looking to have fun. And then I think that fun just kind of snowballed into something bigger. And then a year later, he realized, oh, fuck, this snowball has gotten too big. And now that this snowball has gotten too big, I'm at a point where I don't think I can, go deeper with her to that level.
He said, or she said in the beginning that he mentioned that, like, he doesn't feel like that's holding him back, right? And, like, I don't think he said anywhere in the beginning of, like, the thread or, like, whatever, that they were looking for something casual, you know what I mean? I think they kind of both agreed to, like, do the long-term thing, which, I mean, like you're saying, right, it could have all been, like, Cap just to try to keep this going, where it's like, I just kind of like coming down. But I don't know, that's interesting to me. That could be a perspective,
I mean, I don't know. Dudes just I just understand dudes say anything to get the coochie. You know what I mean? They'll go to that extent if they need to. But again, we don't know. We're just giving you perspective like you asked for. We're just don't take this advice as like, oh my God, he doesn't want me, he doesn't like me. No. I'm just giving you perspective. That's all I'm saying. I'm just giving you perspective. All right. So this is going to be our last one for today's episode. I know he's got to get up out of here. So we're going to do this last one. This one is, am I overreacting? Girlfriend dumped me yesterday and my world is falling apart. All right, my girlfriend broke up with me after 11 months of relationship.
Oh my God.
This happened yesterday at night. We had so many issues during our relationship, but despite that, I wanted to keep going. Come on, bro. We lived together for like 4 or 5 months. We spent so many celebrations together. Our birthday is February 14th, Christmas, New Year's, most of them with her family. For the first time, I was in a formal relationship. Okay, this is your first girlfriend. She met my family. I met hers. I never experienced the joy of celebrating special dates with a partner before. This was my first time, so I felt like I gained a new family and a new life. I met her 1 or 2 months after my dad passed away, and she helped me a lot dealing with the grieving process. I struggled with severe depression for like 2 years. I was in a really bad place, and then to make things worse, my dad died. So then I met her. She gave me purpose, and I thought I was going to have a family. The reason she gave me yesterday was she never really felt attracted to me, and that I needed someone funnier than me, more spontaneous, someone that she could feel less bored and more herself with.
Yep.
She expressed many times how much I helped her with her problems and that I was the most caring partner she had ever had. She mentioned this many a times during our relationship. Even her parents cared so much for me. Despite all of that, she ended everything. I'm afraid I'm going to start feeling the same as before I met her. I started thinking about my dad again. She reminds me a lot of him. I don't know if I can keep going. I can't stop crying and I miss her so much.
Look, brother, we're probably going to be a little hard on you. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because
I'll try not to be hard, I just so that way he can go full brunt.
But like, I just don't get why you're letting this first ever relationship. And like, I get it. You probably had like high hopes for it, but like, dude, stop being so fucking weak, dude. Like, you gotta. This is part of the reason why she left you, brother, is because you weren't the type of dude that she was interested in, right? Like, you guys dated. What she saw you for a little bit as like attractive, someone she was interested in, but then she was like, dude, this motherfucker, like, all he does is come to my fucking house and beckon and call, like, and I can tell by the verbiage of like you saying like she gave me purpose. Brother, you as a man should never have the purpose of being for a woman. That's stupid.
Cooked.
That is stupid, bro. And like, I know there's a lot of like mumbo jumbo out there where like that sounds sweet. You know what I mean? That sounds like you're being very, very nice, but societies, empires, cities, civilizations were not built on the idea of this is my purpose is for a fucking woman, right? They were built by men that wanted more. They wanted to endure conquest. They wanted to build a fucking life. You know what I mean? And so the point I'm trying to get at is you very clearly centered too much of your life around her and what you were getting from the relationship and how these new experiences were so great for you. And you said she was caring. She said you were caring and there for her, but were you giving her the same type of value for her, where she felt like she was getting so much from you? She was getting new experiences. She was getting whatever. Probably not, and that's why it lasted only 11 months. And that's why for you, this is a fucking blessing, brother. This gives you the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and upgrade your life without her dragging you down. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you said she helped you out, yada, 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 through like your depression, losing your father, which I can relate to because I was young when I lost my father. I was 17. So, but that's the thing. Like, I lost my father and I had my mother and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, I had obviously my best friend, you know, but like I didn't have a woman there that like I was like, oh, like help me grieve, or like you give me purpose, yada, 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 you know. Like 2 years later I met my wife and I didn't put any of that on her. You know what I mean? I was more focused on becoming my own man, you know, and I was like, I don't have a good, you know, source of guidance right now because there's no men in my life, but I'm gonna do my very best, you know. And that's where you need to come from, is like, I get it right now. It's fucking difficult. It's fucking hard. That's totally understandable, right? What I'm getting at is don't let this be your end all be all. You know what I mean? Like the whole, I don't know if I can go on, yada, yada, yada. There's so much more to life than just one woman. You know what I mean? Bro. Like, there's 4 billion women in the world. You know what I mean? And like you can do the statistics on like all of them that are your age, whatever, right? But like I know there's other stuff that gives you joy. You know what I mean? That you clearly like family. Hang out with your own fucking family. You clearly like, you know, like you clearly enjoy like holidays, adventures, shit like that. Like, do that stuff. You know what I mean? There's no reason that a woman is the stipulation of what you do in your fucking life.
It's like that one dude where he didn't go to Mexico because his wife cheated.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you gonna let a woman stop you from having fun in life, dude? Those things are enhanced, right, when you share it with someone. But like, you have dude friends. It's not specific to that one out of 7 billion people woman in the world. You know what I mean? Especially because I know you guys are young. You know what I mean? You have so much more life to go through, and like, I know you just gotta look inward. I know there's something out there that you find more enjoyable than hanging out with her. 100%.
Facts, bro.
100%.
Facts.
We all have that.
Yeah, we all have a hobby. We all have something that we enjoy and do in our free time. It's like, dude, there's no way you don't have any of that. And then if you don't, it's like, that's where you start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you start. You look at it like, okay, what are things I'm interested in? You know what I mean? You start going to the gym. You start changing your life, man. Like, dude, And the thing is look, if I'm being real with you, bro, you didn't get this girl because she liked you. You didn't get this girl because she thought you were cool or whatever. Nah, y'all trauma bonded, bro. And that's what it was. She thought, oh my God, he's a great guy, you know, because he shares the same trauma as I do. Like, that's all it really is. You didn't get this girl because you're this special guy. You just didn't.
That's okay.
And that's fine. But the thing is now that you're in the position that you're in, you need to understand that, you know, now it's time for you to start building your life, bro. It's time for you to start getting into something, hobbies, and monetizing those hobbies. And then as well as getting in the gym, you know, giving yourself, like changing yourself, you know what I mean? Making yourself into somebody that you can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of this person. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm proud that this person has grown so much and gone so far. And I guarantee you, the more that you do that and the more that you kind of put yourself out there, you're going to find a lot more women are going to be interested in you and attracted to you for, I don't want to say for you, but they're going to see aspects of you that are like, that they like. Because, I mean, let's be honest, no woman, you know, likes a guy for just him. Like, let's just be real. That just doesn't happen anymore. Sorry. And any woman that says, I love my husband for him. Yeah, you capping, bitch. Shut up. It's a thing where it's like, you see aspects in that guy, and those are what attract you to him inherently. And that is what you want to exhibit. You want to give yourself those kind of things. You go learn how to cook. You learn how to, I don't know, paint, or you learn how to do some stuff. You go skydiving, you go bungee jumping, you go to the gym, you go do this, you go that. Like, you're just that type of guy that gets out and makes things happen. And then women see that. They're like, wow, this guy is interesting. Wow, that's cool. And if she comes back, do not fucking get back with her, bro.
Yes.
Do not get back with her because in you changing yourself like that, you getting out and being more adventurous and getting more experience and all that kind of stuff, she is going to come back because she's going to look at it like, oh my God, now he's the guy that I want. He's the guy that is adventurous and does all this stuff. Oh, take me back. No, do not let that girl back.
Nope.
No.
She will destroy all the progress that you had made up until that point. And
yes.
It's not going to be worth it at all, brother.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. But take that advice, man. Don't worry. Your world's not over, dude. It's one girl. You be all right. But that's going to go ahead and be today's episode, man. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. You enjoyed the videos as well as the thread and the scenarios we've gone over today. We appreciate you guys so much. Again, patreon.com/MyLastPodcast. Exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show like these lovely people did for today. We didn't get to too many scenarios because he's on a short timeline, as well as we did have a thread and other kind of stuff. But again, we love you guys. Audio listeners, thank you guys for downloading the episodes, coming out, hanging out every week. Rate us 5 stars on your preferred platform. If you want to help out even more, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. His socials are on screen right here, as well as they are down in the description. Click on that, follow him over there, get in touch with your boy.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
All right. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.